Welcome to another beautiful day in paradise. And it's always another beautiful day in paradise, isn't it? I mean, we get this insane weather. We live in North Florida. It's almost a miracle by itself, but no matter what the weather would be, I would say welcome to another beautiful day in paradise. It could be freezing, snow flurries, raining, cats and dogs. But I would say welcome to another beautiful day in paradise. Because where does paradise begin? In our consciousness. When we decide that we live in paradise, we experience paradise. Isn't that true? I bet Cash and Kennedy know what that's like. You decide to have a good time and you are going to have a good time. Who cares if it's raining or if it's snowing or if it's cold? If we decide to live in paradise, we do. So welcome to another beautiful day in paradise. And so I'm going to ask today, what's your story? What's your story? And we've all got a story, don't we? We tell stories. We have 100 stories, don't we? Who are you? What do you do? Where do you come from? I'll tell you a story. Sometimes we really define how well we know somebody by the stories that we can tell about them. Oh, you didn't hear what happened to her? Oh, God, wait till I tell you that story. Oh, you have no idea. You won't believe the story. No, we might not believe the story, but we have one. We have this story, but you know, I know part of your story. My Aunt Jill is here. My Aunt Jill is a famous psychic, and I'm not kidding. She is a psychic to the stars, and you know, I'm going to pretend for a moment that I've just inherited some of that gift. She's passed on some of that gift to me, and I'm gonna read you guys just for a moment that I know part of your story, and I'm getting it. Jill, you have to tell me how I do. Yes, a collective group reading. I know absolutely right now that you are unlimited spiritual beings. That I know exactly who you are. I can tell you your story, that you are created in the image and likeness of God itself. And what does that mean? That you were created in the image of love. You're created in the image of joy, of that unbounded joy that we experience when we're kids. That you are created in the image and likeness of peace. Whenever you claim peace, we can claim peace at any moment because we are the image, the likeness and the nature of peace. We are created in the image and likeness of abundance and prosperity. Does this ring a bell? Is this part of your story? Do you recognize it? Because it's the truth of your being. But I am leaving something out. We are unlimited spiritual beings. That is true. No two ways about that. But we are here having a human experience, aren't we? So we come from that infinite place of possibilities, that which we call God, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, that we are made in the image and likeness of. And what happened? We just came, I go like this because it's a V to me. It says V, all that there is, infinite possibility. And here we are in this finite, very finite form. This human form, we're an animal. I'm an animal, for goodness sakes. I'm having a human experience. I am an unlimited spiritual being, and I am having a human experience. And look at these bodies. When we look at our bodies, we're really very fragile, aren't we? If a tree falls and smushes me, heads will roll, blood will spill. I could be dead, right? I go out in the ocean and I'm swimming against the tides. I mean, that ocean's way bigger than this little body. I'd best be careful. How do we deal with the freezing cold without all that hair like a bear? How do we do that? Because we are always connected with the consciousness that we are. We are made in the image and likeness of wisdom and intelligence. So we create, as humans, shelters, communities, banking systems, transit, mass transit, We create a lot of other things. But in our fragility, sometimes in this finite form, sometimes that's what we see. We look out and we see, oh, you are you and I am me. And we are different. We are not the same. We forget because we think if it doesn't come from our eyes and our smell and we can't touch it or taste it, then it might not be real. It might not be who I am. And we forget sometimes that we are unlimited spiritual beings having a human experience. And so, yeah, we were born. We got a name. We didn't even pick our own name, for goodness sake. Somebody gave us a name, right? It wasn't even me. I was born, I had these experiences when I was 7, and when I was 17, and when I was 27. And sometimes because I don't remember who I am, I don't remember that I'm an unlimited spiritual being, I remember what happened to me. Sometimes I just know that happened to me. I am a mother, I am a teacher, I am 50-something years old. That's all you need to know. I am, and then you stop and you go, is that who I am? Is that who I am? Is that who I am, or is that something that happened to me? Am I Elizabeth? Am I Elizabeth, or am I an unlimited spiritual being? And yeah, my parents called me Elizabeth. You can call me Elizabeth, but I don't think that sums up who I am. And not one of those stories I could tell you, oh, and there are some stories streaking through Paris. Oh, wait, I shouldn't tell those stories. I should not tell those stories. Those don't define me. That's just something that happened when I was 17 or 18. And it's something that happened to me. That's not who I am. You know, something, but we know people that they carry that with them. They pick it up and they carry this boulder on their back. And they want to tell you, this is who I am. This happened to me. And it hurts. And I'm scared and I'm frustrated. And I'm old and I'm tired. And you're like, yeah, you think that's bad. What do you see this? Look at mine. Look what I got. And we tell our stories. And in our exchange of these stories, we really think, I know who you are. Oh, you did this, and you were that. And we identify each other by this boulder, this rock that we're carrying. Is that who we are? That's just something that happened to us. That is not who I am. That happened to me. I experienced that. I lived through it. And I can tell you the story, but I'd rather tell you what I'm doing right now. I'd rather show you who I am right now. Let's have that conversation instead of the story. We don't have to keep reliving our story. What happens when we begin living as a spiritual being? What happens when we identify with that story, that part of us that has never been hurt, harmed, or endangered? What happens when we say, hi, I am an unlimited spiritual being? That's your name? No, but you can call me Elizabeth, but I am an unlimited spiritual being. What do you think would happen when we start coming from that? And what do you think would happen in your life when you see everyone? I know who you are. I know your story. I can see it in your face. I'll quote Psalms. It is written, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you children of the Most High. And Jesus quoted that to the Pharisees. He said, is it not written in your scriptures, ye are gods? That's the truth of who we are. The human experience, are we going to come up against boulders? Absolutely, but we were created to be the water, to be the flow. There's boulders in our path, and if we pick them up and carry them with us, wow, that gets tiring. That could be really exhausting. But when we're the water and we move around that boulder, we're going to experience the boulder. Absolutely. We can experience the white water, the rocks underneath. But when we're the water and we move past it, we look back and we go, wow, that happened to me. I don't want to do that ever again. That happened to me, but it is not who I am. That happened to me, and it is not who I am. It is not the truth of my being. I am what? An unlimited spiritual being. And when we come from that story, when we come from that, we literally create new stories to support who we are now. We let go of the old stories. We let go of how we identified with that person that I was at 17 or 27 or 37. You know, my mom and I just saw Deepak Chopra at UNF, and he reminded us that there are between 50 and 75 trillion cells in our bodies, and they all have their own cell life. Some of them 3 days. Red blood cells, I think, are 4 months, white or a year. Our body is replaced. You look at someone like Max, he's 13, and you know when he's 23, that is not the same person. But we forget that about us. We are not the same person who experienced that story. Our bodies are not the same. Our emotional state, we didn't know what we didn't know then. Our mental capacity was not the same. So when we tell the same story, we drag ourselves into the past, or we drag that past, that boulder, into our present. And we don't get to experience ourselves as divine love. We don't get to experience ourselves as the children of the Most High. Ye are God's. And we get to claim peace now. And we can claim it for that thing that happened to us. We can claim peace about that now. I can look at it and say, I bless that boulder, that rock, that cliff with peace now. Because it's over there and it happened to me. But it's not who I am. I am more than that. And a lot of it is perception. When we begin to rewrite our stories, we can skip ahead. We can rewrite our story. And I was talking with a client one time, and he said, what do you mean rewrite? You mean literally rewrite your story? And I said, well, yeah, why not? Because we answer out of habit, who am I? What do you do? Where are you from? Why are you here? And you're at a cocktail party, you say this. You're at a dinner meeting, a business meeting, you say this. These are the stories that come out of my mouth. But what if you rewrote it? He said when I met him, and I said, what brought you to Jacksonville? And he said, my son has autism. And where we live, there's no schools that can support him, and there's nothing around for us, and he's really not doing well. And we just had to move our whole family here, and we had to uproot our home, and we don't know what we're going to do, but we found a great school, and we had to move to Jacksonville. And I said, well, how's that working for you? How's that story going? And he goes, yeah, I haven't met anybody here. I don't meet people. I don't meet people who can help my son. And I said, well, what's happened now that you've been here for a while? What have you found out about Jacksonville that you like? He's like, his face lit up. Well, the school is great. The school's great where my son goes. We go to the beach every day. I can't believe your beach has shells and shark's teeth in it. He loves the water. This whole town is surrounded by water. We have a pond in our backyard, and he skims those rocks. He throws the rocks into the pond. It's lovely. I was like, well, maybe you want to start telling that story. Maybe that's the story you want to tell. And he was writing. He's like, what did I say? What did I say? I said, you go to the beach. Your son loves the water. Jacksonville is a great place to raise a family. And he did. When people started asking him, why he moved here. He started telling that story. And 3 weeks later, he said, I keep meeting people who have special needs kids, and they tell me where to go, and they've referred me to people. Change your story. Find the good in your story. It's a perception. You know, someone's 55 celebrating their birthday, and they're like, ugh, I'm not lighting candles. I'm not having a party. I'm old. I can't do the things that I used to do. I can't go water skiing like I used to do, or snow skiing, and I'm just done. I'm not having any more birthdays. Bah humbug. Maybe that's Christmas. But next door, there's a family next door. And the mom's turning 55, and she's lighting the birthday candles, and the kids are around, and the grandkids are around, and they're celebrating and singing, and she's 55. She's like, yes, another day in paradise. Another day to celebrate. Another day to live and breathe and move and have my being in spirit. Who cares what my body's doing right now? I have love in my life. I am vital in this family. I find meaning in the trees and the birds. Life is good. Same thing. Same thing. But what are we doing with it? Who are we? Who are we really? Unlimited spiritual beings. And we can look at each other and remember that. Ye are gods. We have to live our lives out of what we believe. And we have that story that's always telling us what we believe, right? You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You didn't graduate from college. You didn't do this. You haven't even done that yet. How are you going to do this? Those stories that we tell ourselves, that mental chatter, those are the boulders that we bring. And it's that concept in our minds. But when we quiet our minds, when we stop listening to the stories, or if we're going to believe everything we think, how about that? If we're going to believe everything we think, then let's think, I am a child of God. I am made in the image and likeness of joy and peace. If you're going to believe everything you think, then let's think love and peace and creativity. We are not limited, but we are finding ourselves in this finite space. And from this finite space, we get to choose. Like a cook in a kitchen. Esther Hicks says that. Abraham. There's an infinite pantry. But because we're in the finite, we have to choose. What do I want right now? Blueberry scones or filet mignon? Let's choose. What do you feel like? Choose from that infinite. More love, more peace, more joy? Or are you going to drag the story around with you? You're going to live with that boulder. And, you know, the truth is we can change our story, we can rewrite our story, or we can just let it go. Of course, the biggest story I think rewritten that comes to my mind is Saul or St. Paul. Anybody know the story of Saul? He was a Jewish soldier persecuting his fellow Jews who loved and followed Jesus after his death. And he was traveling with soldiers one day, going to hunt down his fellow Jews who were participating in practicing Jesus' teachings. And on the road to Damascus, the famous road to Damascus, he was blinded by a light. He was blinded by a light, and he heard a voice, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And I am not a literal Bible person, but there are stories about Saul and Paul. And he's blinded by the light. Now he can't see. He literally is blind, cannot see. And he hears a voice, the Christ, saying, why are you persecuting me? And his soldiers and he's like, did anybody else hear that? Anybody else experiencing that? They're like, hey, no, what's up with you, man? Something's wrong. And they take him to an inn, and he holds himself in a room. And you can just imagine, he's looking, he can't see. He's with himself in this consciousness. And he's trying to figure out, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And he came out of that room, and he wasn't Saul. He was Paul. And he was lit up with the Christ consciousness. with the belief that he is whole, perfect, and complete, and divine. He was divinely inspired to talk and to teach and to tell others about their truth. And he called himself Paul because he couldn't live anymore as Saul, right? Can you imagine if he carried that around with him? Yeah, I'm a murderer. I killed people like you. But now I want to teach love, but I'm a murderer. That's who I am. I'm this. I'm a bad person. I've done really bad things. I am bad. How can you stand in love with that? He was like, no way. No. I can't. I am not that. That I did. That I participated in. And I am not that. I am love. And I teach love and I stand in love. And my name is Paul. Change your name if you have to. Right? Change your story if you have to. You might as well. Ernest Holmes said, the only guarantee of our divinity is in its expression through our humanity. The only guarantee of our divinity is through our expression of our humanity. And it means that if we're waiting to die, to be enlightened, to experience our divinity, to experience heaven, you're missing the boat, because heaven is right here. God's presence is right here. It is living itself in you and as you. And our divinity is experienced as we recognize the divinity in each other. In the Namaste, such a beautiful song, the Christ consciousness in me honors and loves the Christ consciousness in you. The Spirit in me honors the Spirit in you. That which is made in the image and likeness of God in me honors and respects and loves that which is God in you. And we live our lives in this moment now, in spirit, in love, and in joy. I am not that. That happened to me. I experienced that, but I am not that. Who am I? Who am I really? I am an unlimited spiritual being. I'd love you all to say that with me. Who am I really? I am an unlimited spiritual being. One more time with feeling. I am an unlimited spiritual being. And we get to choose. Choose what you would like to experience right now from that galley, that huge pantry, filet mignon, blueberry scones, walk on the beach. Choose more joy, more love, more peace. Choose from the truth of your being, from who you really are today, now, in this moment. Choose love. Choose the truth. And so it is.